I'm now going to continue my video series on Henry Ward Beecher and his sermons by covering Matthew chapter 6. Now, what was one of the main themes of Matthew chapter 6? It was about worshiping the things we own. Let me give you an illustration. I own this razor. I actually use this razor, but I do not worship this razor. Now, let me give you a better example of that. Okay? I also own an automobile, and I know a lot of people say, well, you own a car. Well, yeah, you can call it a car, but you can also call it an automobile. Yes, I do take care of my car. I do wash it. I do wax it. I make sure it's well maintained. That's true. But my life does not revolve around my car. Yes, I use my car to go to work. Yes, I use it to go shopping. Yes, I use it to go to picnics in the park. But my whole life does not revolve around that car. Some people, they spend so much time with their car they don't spend it with anybody or anything else. But they even tell God, hey, I don't have time for you, I still got to spend it with the car. God gets pretty offended by stuff like that. See what I mean? Let me tell you something. It's one thing to care for the items you own. It's also one thing to use those items. That's fine. It's another thing to have your lives revolve around those things. That's the difference. Think about this for a second. I also own a tablet. Lots of people own these tablets, and lots of people own these smartphones too. Okay? Now, there's a big difference between me having this tablet and other people owning smartphones and tablets and stuff like that. Let me give you the difference. Okay? Here it is. Yes, I have an Instagram account. But I didn't get on Instagram. Now don't get me wrong here. Okay? I guess I better back up a little bit. I really enjoy that people like my pictures. That's true. I also enjoy the comments that people send to me on Instagram. That's wonderful. I love the communication, don't get me wrong. But I don't live for it. That's the difference. My life doesn't revolve around how many likes I get on Instagram. It doesn't revolve around how many comments I get off of Instagram. As a matter of fact, I didn't get on Instagram to get liked, and I didn't get on there to get comments. That was not my reason. And I'll prove that. What do you see on my Instagram account? Well, amongst all these looking for Lincoln pictures, you see two QR codes. There's number 1 and there's number 2. Why did I put QR codes on my Instagram? Okay, here's the reason why. There are lots of people out there facing eviction, starvation, and bullyism. Okay, that's true. Some of them watch YouTube, some of them do not. There are lots of people out there that simply don't watch a lot of YouTube, and some that don't watch anything at all. That's true. So how am I going to get the word out to everybody that I have these tools that people can use to get out of eviction, starvation, and bullyism? Well, we have Instagram. Do you know in less than a month I have acquired 135 followers on Instagram? It was more effective than Twitter. It was more effective than YouTube. It was more effective than Facebook. I couldn't believe how fast I got all these followers. It was incredible. Now those people that are following me can spread the word to those who are facing eviction, starvation, and bullyism and saying, hey, look, these tools are out there for you. And Ted has offered them to you. And that's what they're doing. So now they have a much better chance of getting what they need when they need it the most. And that's why I did all this. Okay. Now here's some other thoughts I want you to think about tonight. We have so many machines in our house these days. Washing machines, dishwashers, vacuum sweepers, hair curlers, hair dryers, you name it. All these objects save us a ton of time. What do we do with all this spare time? Well, some of it does have to be devoted to our cars, to maintain our cars, to wash and wax our cars. That's true. Some of that time needs to be spent with exercise and cooking meals. And for you ladies, it means spending some of that time to make yourself presentable every single day. You have to spend some time with your makeup. You do have to spend your time washing your hair. You got a lot of hair, so you have to wash it, okay? I understand that. There are things you have to do. I will give you that. However, there is a difference between making yourself presentable and spending all that time being vain. Okay, there's a fine line between presentable and vain, and you need to know the difference. If you're spending more time on your looks than you're spending with God, you got a priority problem. Okay? Let me illustrate my point. Okay. See this? It's a video game. Okay? Yes, I do own a copy of Earthbound. Okay? Now then, I acquired this game right about the time that my first girlfriend died of anorexia. And it did help me get through a rough time, so I do have fond memories of this game. That's why I won't give it up. But there's a big difference between me playing that game and me worshiping that game. I don't spend every day playing that game. I don't spend every waking hour playing that game. There are some times when it's either the heat of summer or the deathly cold of winter, where I sit there and I have really nothing better to do, and I sit there and I play the game just to pass the time. And it does help me pass the time. And it does give me a few fond memories. But let me tell you something, that game does not give me joy. As a matter of fact, there are some devices in this world that will not give you joy. If you want something to worry about on a regular basis, turn this baby on. It's a nice tool, and it's there for what it's supposed to be there for. But if you want to worry on a regular basis, listen to this. Or how about this? Listen to network news. You want a lot of things to worry about? Watch network news for a whole day. You'll have plenty to worry about. It's rare when they have a good story on the network news. Not impossible, but it is rare. See what I mean? So, if you want something, or really someone, to bring you joy, spend time with God. Reserve time with God. He will bring you joy. If you want caring and sympathy and compassion and temporary happiness, go spend time with some fellow Christians. Those are things they can give to you. See me? But if you're spending more time with this than you are with fellow Christians and with God, your priorities are backwards. Yes, you need to spend time with this. But if you're spending more time with this than you are with God, you got a priority problem. That's just a fact, Jack. Okay? Now then, I'm going to talk about one last thing in this video, and I'm going to conclude it from here. There are a lot of things that we worry about every single day that never come to pass. That's true. Now, some things that we worry about do come to pass. Sometimes we worry about our job and we end up getting fired. Someday a bill comes due and it's more than we expect. That's something to worry about. How are we going to pay for it? Those are legitimate worries. But a lot of the things that you're going to worry about in life never come to pass. So I got a challenge for you. Number one, I want you to keep a journal of everything you worry about every single day. I want you to keep this journal for about a year. And then when you look back on it, you're going to see how many of those things never came to pass. How many of them never came to fruition. And you're going to think yourself silly for worrying about them. But number two, if you're bold enough, after you keep that journal for about a year, I want you to return back to this video. And then in the comments below, I want you to write down every single thing that you worried about that never happened. That will give encouragement to others who are watching this video right now. Matter of fact, if right now you can think of something that you worried about years ago that never happened, go ahead and put it down in the comments below, if you're bold enough. And I hope you are. Because I'd like to read about them. Alright. That's all I have to say for this evening. The only other thing I'm going to say is this. If there is something that you worried about in life, that you have ever worried about in life, that never came to pass, rejoice to God that God never let that whatever it was happen. Say, God, I want to thank you so much that this never came to pass. You say, I have never had anything to talk to God about. How about that one? You want something to talk to God about, say, hey, look, I am so thankful to you that what I worried about never happened. You don't just talk to God. You don't just talk to God when bad things do occur. He wants you to talk to Him when good things are occurring. He wants continual fellowship with you. And that's something you can fellowship with Him about. You know, He designed that model of prayer, the Lord's Prayer. He designed that as a blueprint of prayer. And part of that blueprint was, be thankful for every single thing that never happened that you worried about. Be thankful that your spouse didn't walk out on you when you thought they would. Be thankful that your spouse didn't perish in some sort of unthinkable accident. That they're still safely in your house. That you get to spend one more day with them. Be thankful to God because of that. Be thankful you still got a roof over your head, despite the fact that you were worried about your job. Be thankful you still got clothes on your back, even when you had an insect infestation that nearly ruined all your clothes. I can come up with a dozen zany examples. Just think about it. Thank the Lord each and every day for the things that could have happened, but God prevented from happening. Okay? And that's all I got to say for tonight. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.